We're going to look at business card design considerations when it comes to your logo design. A business card is a small printed, usually credit card sized paper card that holds your business details, such as your name, contact details, and brand logo. Your business card design is an essential part of your branding and should act as a visual extension of your brand design. Business cards should, above all, be personal. So let's talk a little bit about what you'll need before you start. Whether you're an individual freelancer, founder of a young startup, or part of an established enterprise, there are two crucial design components you need finalized before you even begin thinking of business cards. First is a finished logo, and the next is a brand color scheme. Logos and color schemes are the two most important visual choices for branding. Not only will these elements play a big part in creating your business card, they'll also help influence other areas like layout and identity. So what brand are you? There's one other preliminary activity that makes the rest of the business card design process run more smoothly. You need to know what you want to communicate. What kind of brand are you as an individual or business? What do you want your business card to say? Not just with words, but with design. This is also a topic worthy of its own discussion. So if you want to dive a little deeper, taking a few minutes of reflection about your personal brand will help with some business card design questions down the line, particularly when it comes to displaying your personality. Once you have your logo, brand color scheme, and a good idea of what you want your card to say about you, you're ready to start. So just pretty much follow these next steps to determine which business card would work best for you. Choose your shape. As printing techniques grow more advanced and affordable, professionals have more room to explore alternative shapes. The printing industry of die cutting allows you to cut out any shape you want and still print in bulk. On the conservative end of the spectrum, you could simply round the corners for a friendlier business card. But if you really want to be playful or stand out, you can use virtually any shape: animal mascots, outlines of products you sell, or a shape that's wholly original. You can even build your entire business card theme around clever cutting. Whether or not you use creative shapes depending on the image you want to convey, special shapes make you seem more fun and help you make an impression, but can have an adverse effect on more formal industries. You'll want to keep this in mind when logistically, such as how the card fits in a wallet as well. Choose your size of the card. The most depends on the standard of the country, so that's a good place to start. Even if you plan to stand out, you have to know what everyone else is doing to go against it. So North America standard is about 3.5 inches by 2 inches. European standard is about 3.346 by 2.165 inches. And Oceania standard is 3.54 by 2.165 inches. So no matter what the size, you always want to consider 3 factors when designing: the bleed area, which is the outermost part of the card likely to be removed, a trim area, the target line for cutting cards, and a safety line. Anything outside this line is subject to cutting mistakes. Don't let essential elements like text or logos fall outside this line. While these areas vary depending on the size and printer, a safe bet is to set the trim line at 0.125 inches from the edge. From there, set the safety line at 0.125 inches from the trim line. Add your logo and other graphics. Now we begin plotting the visual elements of your business card design. First and foremost, the logo. Your logo should take center stage on your business card, although other flourishes and secondary graphics can sometimes be useful as well. Don't forget that you have 2 sides at your disposal. One strategy is to dedicate one side of the business card exclusively to the logo, while the other side showcases the contact information of the person. However, it's also good to have the logo on both sides. So often you'll see a similar out-of-the-way logo on the side with contact information. This is just one strategy of many, though. Feel free to experiment with logo placement until you find one for your tastes. While minimalism is a popular choice for business cards, if that empty space doesn't suit you, you can fill it with additional graphics, even if your logo is simple or text only. Any related imagery serves the same ends. Additional graphics work well for showing off your brand identity without explicitly saying it. You can communicate your brand's personality through visuals, including colors. For example, if you want to seem casual or approachable, a cute cartoon and some bright colors would do the trick. Another increasingly popular trend is to instill interest and curiosity by leaving a little mystery. Typically, brands place a wordless visual with a URL on one side and then all necessary explanation, including brand name and employee's name on the other side. Add necessary text. What your business card actually says depends on you. Work from home freelancers may have no need for a postal address, while professions that consult face-to-face require it. Or maybe it's a strategic choice, such as drawing attention to your impressive social media following. The point is, different people benefit from different text on their business cards. So the next step is for you to decide what to put on your business card. Here's a list of some common choices so you can decide which to include and exclude. A name. A given, every card needs a name. A company name, another given, except for personal brands in which your personal name is your company name. Job title. For traditional cards, include your job title. This also helps remind the holder of who you are, what you do, and even how you met. Phone number. Even if phone is not preferred method of communication, it is to some people. Email. A business card staple. Email is the new norm for non-urgent business communications, partially because it allows sending documents as attachments. Website URL, including your site URL, is a non-aggressive invitation for visits. Social media, if social media is relevant to your field, or you just want to show a bit of your personality, include social media links. Address, necessary for drawing customers into your office or store location. And slogan, completely optional. A slogan helps with brand identity and adds a little personality. Remember that business cards aren't just about giving information, but also retaining it. People may already know your number, address, or URL, but keep your card handy in case they forget it. Choose your typography. So once you know what you want to say, you can choose how it looks. While typography is always important, it's especially pertinent to business cards since you have to make text completely legible and have only a small space to work with. So let's break up typography into the three main categories. Size. To maintain readability, you want all your text to be at least 8 points. However, you want your most important elements like your name to stand out. So feel free to vary the text sizes. Also consider empty space. You don't want to clutter your card, so leave your text small enough that there's plenty of breathing room around each element. Font. Just remember to choose a font that represents the personality you're going for. A clean and modern sans serif or individualistic and elegant script or classic and timeless serif font are some examples. And then color. Here's where a pre-existing brand color scheme comes in handy. Staying on brand, choose text colors that go well with the brand background color of your card, which should also be a brand color. Similar colors may look nice together, but can be hard to read, so experiment with contrast for legibility. The golden rule for typography is to prioritize legibility over all else. It doesn't matter how artistic your font is if no one can read what it says. Consider special finishes. Now that you're reaching the final stretch, it's time to start considering printers, especially in terms of what they can offer. Certain printers offer special finishes that can go a long way in making a lasting impression. See if any of these special effects can benefit your business card design strategy. Embossing. This technique creates three-dimensional reliefs, making certain areas pop out, like spot UV coating. You can use it to draw attention to specific areas of your card, even words. Letterpressing. Rather than raising the paper, letterpress printing pushes the paper down while inking it. The result is something like an engravement, typically with special ink to draw further attention, especially useful for letters, giving your words a heightened gravitas. Foil stamping. If you want something shiny and reflective like foil, like tin foil, you can apply foil stamping to images or even just parts of images. This also works for accenting text if you've chosen a bold enough typeface. Spot UV coating. A lot of cards have sleek varnish to create a sheen and smooth texture. Spot UV coating is the same thing, except one only applied to certain areas. That means you can apply a gloss on only your logo, specific graphics, or even a word or phrase. Use it when you want to accent certain areas over others, but be mindful of how it affects the overall composition when only a portion is shiny. Finalize your design. So with all the elements in place and an accurate prediction of your final color choices and special finishes, you can reevaluate your design to make sure everything works. First, examine the visual flow. How does your eye move when looking at the card? What do you notice first? What do you notice last? A good visual flow should start with the logo, then the name, and then the secondary information, finishing on any secondary images if they are there. You can always change and optimize the visual flows by changing an element's size and location. You also want to clear out as much clutter as you can. It's all necessary. Is all the information necessary? The fewer the remaining elements, the more impact each makes. Double check to make sure you didn't fall into any common pitfalls. Is the text legible? Do the colors clash? Are any elements too close to the edge? Some things to think about. There are advanced techniques as well. So these steps are all you need to create a fully functional business card. But if you want to go the extra mile, consider these more advanced tips. Stand out with a clever idea. If your client shows some whimsy or allows for some whimsy, you can employ more experimental strategies for separating yourself. This could be something thematic. For example, scented inks, duplexing and triplexing, so doubling or tripling the card's width to make it thicker, using alternative materials like metal, plastic, rubber, etc. Folded cards and transparent cards. The last trend we're seeing a lot of lately, and for good reason, these transparent cards. There's a lot you can do with these see-through cards. Avoid borders. Borders may seem like a smart aesthetic choice to frame the content of your card, and they are in theory, but the prevalence of cutting mistakes means borders do more harm than good. Cutting every single card perfectly in a bulk order is pretty much a fantasy, and that's why it's best to design with bleed and safety areas. With borders, tiny mistakes in cutting are exaggerated and bring down the whole design. You can also save money on colors. If you're working on a budget, don't skimp on materials or the quality. You can cut out a chunk of the cost just by using only 1 or 2 colors. The more colors you add, the more the price goes up. And a smart designer will know how to make 1 or 2 colors look just as good. The takeaway from all of this, so your card is more than just your contact information. It's a representation of you and your brand. Some people are handed cards every day, so you need yours to both stand out and paint you in a favorable light. Don't cut corners with designing your business card. I also wanted to share before we wrap this up a website vendor, and they're called moo.com, and I have actually used them before for business card printing. And again, they're called Moo, and they have some really interesting different ways to print business cards. They have different size business cards. So if you go to moo.com, you can actually check out different paper, different sizes that they have available, and they do a great job in my experience with how it's printed and just different materials as well. So go ahead and check it out. They actually have mini cards. They have square business cards. I've had mini cards printed from them as well, and they do a great job. They also have other materials that you can print as well, not just business cards. You can do all kinds of other full color printing as well.